gospel singer Lynda Randle, whose powerful voice and uplifting spirit have inspired millions, is now enduring a deeply personal and heartbreaking challenge. Her devoted husband, who has always been by her side, is now facing the unimaginable after receiving a shocking and life-altering diagnosis. As Lynda cherishes every moment and her husband offers quiet, unwavering support, we are given a rare and emotional glimpse into their private lives, a journey filled with love, resilience, and sorrow. It's a story that promises to touch your heart. Rachael Ray has long been a symbol of warmth, positivity, and inspiration, becoming a beloved household name through her accessible approach to cooking. From her first appearances on television to her now flourishing career, she's won over audiences with her energy, charm, and ability to simplify even the most complicated recipes. For more than 20 years, Rachael has built a culinary empire, not just with her famous 30-minute meals, but also through best-selling cookbooks, her daytime talk show, and a lifestyle magazine that struck a chord with her fans. What truly set her apart was her authenticity. Rachael wasn't just loved for her food, she was adored for her smile, her boundless enthusiasm, and the way she made people feel at home in their own kitchens. Yet, behind that joyful presence was a life marked by private struggles and quiet strength. While she brought comfort and connection into millions of homes, her own life was not without pain. Beneath the bright exterior, Rachael has faced some of life's hardest challenges, experiences that have shaped her in profound ways. Though she's widely recognized for her sunny outlook, her journey has always carried a deeper, more complex story. As a public figure, she has had to constantly balance the pressures of a high-profile career, personal responsibilities, and emotional burdens. Much of this she kept to herself, choosing instead to share her love for food and people with the world. Even with all her professional triumphs, Rachael's personal life has often been shadowed by sorrow and hardship. Like so many, she's encountered difficult times, moments of emotional strain that she handled with grace while continuing to uplift those around her. But as the years went on, these private battles began to take a toll. Though her career kept thriving, her health began to falter. Eventually, no amount of success could insulate her from the harsh realities she was facing. Life became increasingly challenging to manage at the pace she had grown used to. Still, Rachael pushed forward, motivated by her fans and loved ones. Many of her hardships remained hidden from public view until recently. A serious and unexpected health diagnosis forced her to step back and confront the reality she had long tried to avoid. According to those close to her, Rachael has been quietly battling a significant illness, one that has deeply affected both her and her husband, John Cusimano. The news came as a shock, not only to Rachael but to everyone who had followed her inspiring rise to fame. Known for her strength and poise, Rachael always seemed unbreakable. But now, she's facing a situation that threatens not just her health, but everything she has worked so hard to achieve. As the news of her condition spread, fans and friends responded with an outpouring of love, prayers, and support. Despite everything she's already endured, this new chapter in her life marks a turning point. It's difficult to imagine the culinary world without Rachael's contagious optimism and energy. And yet, as she navigates this profound challenge, she continues to embody the spirit that made her such a cherished figure. Rachael's priorities have shifted. Her health now comes first, and she's choosing to spend more time with her loved ones, especially John, who has been her constant source of strength. Their journey together has weathered many storms, and now, as she faces perhaps the most difficult moment of her life, John remains steadfast by her side. The love and bond they share have remained strong through all of life's highs and lows. And now, as Rachael faces an uncertain path forward, that same love continues to sustain her. Throughout everything, Rachael has displayed the same resilience her fans have always admired, refusing to let her diagnosis define who she is. Instead, she continues to embrace life with the same passion she's always shown, for food, for people, and for the work that established her as one of the most influential figures in the culinary world. Rachael Ray's legacy goes beyond the recipes she's shared. It's about how she's made people feel empowered, inspired, and ready to tackle life, one meal at a time. Even in difficult times, Rachael continues to reflect the strength and optimism that have made her a beloved icon. For over 2 decades, she has brought joy and warmth into millions of homes. Whether through her popular 30-minute meals show, her cookbooks, or her engaging, down-to-earth personality, she became a household name, known for her cheerful demeanor and her genuine love for cooking. Viewers found comfort in watching her create simple, delicious meals while sharing her enthusiasm in a way that made cooking approachable for everyone. Yet behind the scenes, Rachel's life wasn't always as perfect as it appeared on screen. Like many public figures, she kept much of her personal life private, even while facing quiet struggles of her own. Throughout the years, her kindness, determination, and positive spirit were clear in everything she did. But nothing could have prepared the public for the moment her health took a serious turn, bringing with it a life-changing diagnosis. News of Rachel's illness shocked many. Fans who admired her vibrant energy were deeply concerned to learn she was battling a potentially serious condition. Rachel had long been seen as the picture of vitality, always full of life. The idea that she was now facing such a daunting challenge left many feeling heartbroken. But while others feared the worst, Rachel responded with the same strength and resolve she had always shown. Known for pushing through obstacles, she now faced one more, only this time, the challenge was unlike anything before. This wasn't just a setback, it was a profound, life-altering event that no fame or success could fix. The diagnosis deeply affected not just Rachel, but also her family, especially her husband, John Cusimano. Married for nearly 20 years, their bond has always been a central part of Rachel's life. John, who had stood by her side through everything, now faced the painful task of supporting her through one of the hardest periods they had ever encountered. While Rachel had long been the emotional anchor in their relationship, this time, John stepped into that role, providing the strength and support she needed. Together, they braved the uncertainty of her illness, leaning on the love that had sustained them for decades. Despite everything, Rachel remained focused on living fully. Even as her health declined, she refused to let it define her. Her devoted fans, who had followed her journey for years, surrounded her with love, prayers, and heartfelt messages. Social media was flooded with tributes from people touched by Rachel's kindness and generosity. It became clear that her impact extended far beyond the kitchen. Her strength during this time showed the world just how resilient she truly was. Rather than withdrawing, Rachel remained present, continuing to engage with her audience and reminding them that even in hardship, joy and gratitude could still be found. Her priorities shifted, from her professional life to her health and loved ones, but her spirit never dimmed. In fact, her openness about her struggles only deepened her fans' admiration. She faced her situation directly, just as she had tackled every obstacle in her career. At the same time, John quietly carried his own emotional burden. Watching the woman he loved face such a difficult journey was heartbreaking. While he tried to remain strong for her, it was clear he too was deeply affected. Their dynamic changed. Rachel, who had always been the one to lift others up, now leaned on John for that same strength. Their relationship, built on deep love and mutual respect, was tested like never before. But even in the face of so much emotional weight, Rachel remained committed to making the most of her time. She chose to focus on what truly mattered, her family, her home, and creating cherished memories. Their house in upstate New York, long described by Rachel as her sanctuary, became even more of a haven during this time. It became a sanctuary where she could rest, reflect, and spend cherished moments with those she loved most. Away from the cameras and the public spotlight, she found peace in life's simple pleasures and the freedom to just be herself. Rachel's diagnosis opened up a wider discussion about health, resilience, and how people cope with life's toughest challenges. Her fans, who had long admired her strength and determination, began to see a different side of her. They witnessed a woman who, despite facing overwhelming odds, continued to show up for others. She remained a source of inspiration, not just for her culinary talents, but for the grace and dignity with which she faced life's hardest moments. Over time, Rachel's health became the primary focus for her and her family. Though she continued to live as fully as possible, there was a quiet understanding that life had changed. She wasn't surrendering her passion or her commitment to helping others. Instead, she was entering a new chapter, one where her well-being and loved ones came first. It was a bittersweet adjustment, but one she met with the same unwavering strength and courage that had always defined her. Ultimately, Rachel Ray's legacy goes beyond the meals she's prepared or the shows she's hosted. It lies in the lives she's touched, the love she's shared, and the joy she's brought to millions. Even in the face of uncertainty, her story continues to inspire others to live with purpose, kindness, and resilience, just as she has. John Cusimano, known for keeping a quiet presence in the public eye, now finds himself facing a deeply painful reality. As the devoted husband of celebrity chef Rachel Ray, John has always been closely connected to her world. While Rachel became a beloved household name as a chef, TV host, and philanthropist, John stayed largely in the background, pursuing his passions in music, law, and offering unwavering support as her confidant and partner. Even before Rachel's diagnosis, John was a man of many talents. He fronted the rock band The Cringe, earning some recognition in the music scene. Music had always been a deep passion, giving him the chance to tour and even perform with legendary artists. Despite the band's achievements, John never craved the spotlight the way Rachel did. He was satisfied with his own path, choosing to stay behind the scenes and be a steady presence in Rachel's life. John also held a law degree and built a career in entertainment law, working with artists and professionals across the industry. He handled the complex legal side of their work and built meaningful relationships with clients. For John, success was never about fame, it was about being someone people could depend on, especially Rachel. Throughout Rachel's rise to fame, John remained her quiet partner. He appeared occasionally on her shows, but largely preferred to stay out of the public eye. Their marriage, which began in 2005, was grounded in mutual respect, shared passions, and a deep love that withstood the pressures of fame. To many, they represented a model of unity, with John always standing by Rachel's side through it all. Everything changed when Rachel's health began to decline. Her diagnosis was a devastating blow, not only to her and John but to everyone who knew and loved her. Rachel had always been a symbol of joy and strength, her warm personality making her seem almost untouchable. But as her condition became more serious, John was thrown into an emotional whirlwind he never anticipated. As Rachel grew more ill, John's role shifted dramatically. He went from being a supportive partner to becoming her primary caregiver. Though he had always been her pillar of strength, he now had to face the most painful challenge of all, watching the woman he loved fight a battle that could take her away. It wasn't just about taking care of Rachel physically, it was about being there for her emotionally too. John, who had always been a private person, suddenly found himself in a very public role he had never anticipated. His concern for Rachel's well-being, his instinct to shield her from the media chaos, and his own emotional struggles all collided in ways he couldn't have foreseen. Their relationship shifted dramatically. John was no longer just Rachel's husband, he became her caregiver and emotional rock. Though he had always been supportive, this situation demanded a strength he had never been called upon to show before. As someone who preferred staying behind the scenes, John now had to confront emotions he had rarely allowed himself to feel. The love he had always shown Rachel was put to the ultimate test. Despite the overwhelming challenge of her diagnosis, John remained unwavering. He knew he had to be the stabilizing force in their lives, doing everything possible to maintain a sense of normalcy while Rachel fought her health battle. They had always operated as a team, and that hadn't changed. At the same time, John was wrestling with his own inner battles. Though he tried to stay strong for Rachel, the reality of the situation was wearing on him. He often felt powerless, watching helplessly as she endured pain and uncertainty. Accepting that some things were simply out of his control was one of the hardest things he had ever faced. Rachel's illness turned their lives upside down. It placed immense pressure on their personal relationship, yet it also brought them closer than ever. John's role as her primary support only deepened as they braved the unknown side by side. They retreated more often to their upstate New York home, a peaceful escape they had always treasured. It became a sanctuary where they could simply focus on each other. Throughout Rachel's illness, John took on more responsibilities. He managed her care, coordinated treatments, and helped navigate the emotional highs and lows. Still, he avoided the spotlight. He wasn't looking for sympathy or attention. But those who knew him could clearly see how much he was going through. His once balanced life of music, law, and partnership with Rachel had narrowed down to one central focus: her health. His music career paused, and his legal work slowed as he poured his energy into being there for her. Always known for his quiet strength, John was now facing challenges he had never imagined. Even as Rachel's health worsened, John remained her steady presence. They made new memories together and held tightly to the time they still had. His love never faltered. Through all the sorrow and uncertainty, John was a constant source of strength and compassion, showing Rachel the same deep love and loyalty that had always defined their marriage. In the midst of it all, John's role as Rachel's husband and caregiver became more vital than ever. Though he had always been humble, now he found himself in the painful position of watching the woman he adored fight a life-threatening illness. Yet through every hardship, his love for her endured. He supported her in every way he could, showing that real love is about more than just the good times. It's about standing together when everything else falls apart. Rachel Ray has always been more than a TV chef. She's a culinary icon, a beloved television figure, and a source of inspiration to millions around the world. Her energetic personality, easy-to-follow recipes, and down-to-earth style turned her into a household name. Over the years, Rachel's impact stretched far beyond the kitchen. What many don't realize, however, is just how deeply she's touched her fans, especially now, as she faces her current health challenges. For years, her shows, books, and magazines haven't just taught people how to cook, they've encouraged them to lead happier, healthier lives. On TV, Rachel made cooking seem fun and approachable rather than intimidating. Her signature 30-minute meals, full of quick and tasty recipes, became a go-to for countless families. Fans looked to her not just for meal ideas, but for comfort, warmth, and that sense of familiarity that made it feel like she was part of their lives.